did the introductions, that was fine. We started the presentation on drill trucks. We have those in Japan too. What's next? So that took no time. And we said, oh, plant, oh, we like plant tools, let's go. So out we go in the plant. And we only got maybe 100 yards, not very far. Usually this plant would have taken about a half hour to take somebody around. We got about 100 yards. And Iwata puts his hand up and says, okay, we've seen enough, let's go back. We said, but Mr. Iwata, we just got out. No, we've seen enough, come on. So we go back in the conference room, and Iwata-san gets up on the board, and in great big letters he writes the words, no good. And then he turns around and he looks at us and he says, look, everything here is no good. What do you want to do about it? And we said, whoa. So now I think most companies in the US, if someone walked in and did that and said, look, everything here is no good, they would just throw them out. They would just throw you out. Say, get out. We can't believe that. But we already knew it was no good. We just didn't know how no good it was. We wanted to fix it, and we wanted them to help us. So we said, okay. So we set up two teams. One team was going to work on our heavy-duty industrial drill trucks. And Mr. Iwata said, oh, I like assembly. So he said, well, I'll work on assembly. So we created one team for the heavy-duty trucks. And we had about 7 or 8 engineers and managers, and that was Takanaka went with them. And so Iwata, I stayed with the president of Jacob's Truck was a guy named Dennis Claremont. So Dennis and I went with Iwata. So we go out and we look, and we had 4 conveyor belt assembly lines. So everything came down the assembly line, and people did something, that put it back, and then did the next. And so the first thing Iwata says is, oh, I hate conveyor belts, get rid of them. And we were like, whoa, but he took us back in the office and he explained why, and he could take us out on the floor and show us why. And we said, okay, I guess we're going to get rid of the conveyor belts. Meantime, the other team, they kept coming back into the room and saying, and whispering in Dennis's ear and saying, I said, Dennis, what's going on? He said, oh, the consultants, they want to move about 8 or 10 machines over lunch. And we haven't moved these machines in 10 or 15 years since they've been in the plant. And so my people are all upset. They don't want to do it. And I said, what did you tell them? He said, I told them to go ahead and move them. So, okay, so after lunch, we'll go out and we'll see what's going on. And so we go out after lunch, and we got Takanaka, and by the way, they were in suits and ties. We were wearing blue jeans and golf shirts, so it was pretty different. And they had the ties tucked in because the oil was dripping off the ceiling. And they got pry bars under this one machine. And we got a forklift truck trying to drag it across the floor. They were prying it loose from all the oil. And it was 7 or 8 engineers, and they're all standing there with their mouths open watching this. And I said, oh, I like these kind of consultants. They don't, no PowerPoint presentations, no nothing, just do something, do it right now. So by the end of the day, they created the first cell, production cell at Jacob's Truck. We couldn't hook the machines up in that short of time. We could unhook them, but we couldn't get them back running. And showed everybody, this is how the part should move through the cell. And so we said, okay, and that's how we started, really. We started right there that one day, and it just kind of went on from there. So they spent the rest of the week at Jacob's break, and we made a lot of progress there as well. But the whole focus was, let's just go on the shop floor, focus on something, watch it, study it, document it, get the facts, and then make the changes. And so it was really an eye-opener for us. It was very different. They showed us how to organize a Kaizen, how to run a Kaizen. They had all the paperwork that they use for a Kaizen. So we could follow that paperwork, standard worksheets, standard work combination sheets, spaghetti charts, all of this stuff. All of this was new to us. We didn't know anything about it. And then, organizational wise, they taught us how to select the members for a Kaizen. Not all salary people like most companies in the U.S. would do, but salaried and hourly working together. And then I thought one of the smartest things was they showed us that every day you should have a leaders meeting to get an update on where it is and what's going to happen tomorrow. And that was great because it gave management a chance to listen to that. And if what they were going to do the next day wasn't enough, we could say, no, you got to do more. You got to do extra things. And of course, the consultants could talk to the leaders and talk to the team and say, no, this is no good. And so they would say, look at this waste you made. You should give back half your salary or something like that. And so my people were all like, whoa, what? We should say, calm down. And we should, listen, just calm down and do whatever they tell you to do. That's all. That was the approach that we took. And so that worked very, very well. And we made tremendous progress in a very short period of time, I thought, because we just followed what they said. They were teaching us, on the shop floor where you could see what was going on, and that's kind of how we started with them. So that was it was very, very helpful. And then at Danaher, we became their only U.S. client for the first 4 years when they were in the U.S. They did some seminars for a group called TBM Consulting, but those were like public seminars. But of course, to do those seminars, they needed a factory where they could move things around and do things. So we said, we volunteer a factory. So that was a big help for us because we got free help. We got Kaizens run by Shingijutsu. We got outside people looking and giving us their ideas. And it was very disruptive, but we made a lot of progress with that. And so for 4 years, we were the only ones that they worked with in the U.S. And at some point, we wanted the owners of Danaher came and saw what we were doing at Jake Break. And they said, how fast can you do this in the rest of Danaher? We said, I don't know, we'll ask Shingijutsu. And Shingijutsu said, we want you to help us in the rest of Danaher. They said, no. Jake Break and Jake Chuck are so bad that we're just going to focus on them until we get them better. So now myself and Conan Sager, and the other group executive, John Cosentino, we had to figure out how we're going to do this ourselves. So now we have to do this on the other company. So we set up a trip. We took all 13 of Danaher's presidents and their vice presidents of operations, and we brought them to Japan for a week. Shingijutsu set up a tour for us to see about 7 or 8 companies during the week, so we could show them. Let's look at this, this is what we want you to do. In the evenings after dinner, we did a little training. Then when we got back, every 6 weeks, we forced all of these presidents to go on somebody's shop floor and do a Kaizen, just 3 days, because we couldn't get all the presidents' schedules to fit, but we could get them for 3 days. So every 6 weeks. And at first they said, why am I doing this? I'm a president, I shouldn't be on the shop floor, blah, blah. But after we got such enormous results that after about the third time, they cleared off their calendars and they didn't want to miss one of these sessions. So that's how Kaizen became part of what Danaher did, because we started to spread it to all the other companies. And eventually Shingijutsu came and worked with us in the other companies as well. And they showed us new things every time, right? We learned one of the companies that I had, which was a company called Vitaroot, and it was the most profitable company in Danaher. So when you tried to get them to do this, they said, go away, we're the most profitable company, we don't want to do this. So we had a Kaizen once in Elizabethtown, Elizabethtown, North Carolina, their biggest factory. And one of the things he did was he said, okay, we're going to take the walk of shame. Now we had a lot of the the president and a bunch of the top management of Vita there, and we did the walk of shame. After the walk of shame, they said, okay, we'll do it because you showed us how bad we were. So that's kind of how we learn.